Hello and welcome back to Hank USA. I'm Hank. There's a lot moving right now with the phone companies, and most seniors haven't heard a word about it. It's not that any of it is secret, it just never shows up as a clear, plain letter that tells you what you actually need to know. Some of these changes are good news for you. One of them could leave you without a working phone if you don't take a couple of simple steps. And one is a brand new federal effort with a phrase worth memorizing for the next time an unexpected call comes in. We'll go through all of it. First, a quick favor. If this video helps you, give it a like, subscribe to Hank USA, and turn on the notification bell. The rules for phone carriers change quietly, and people usually find out the hard way, after the service is already cut off or after a scam has already cost them. Subscribe so you hear about it first. Let's start with the newest development, and this one really is recent. This June, the Elder Justice Coordinating Council, a group of federal agencies led by the Department of Health and Human Services, and including the FTC and the Justice Department, launched a national campaign called Never Ever. It was timed to World Elder Abuse Awareness Day in mid-June, and it has one focused goal: to fight the scams where criminals pose as government officials or trusted companies to target older Americans. Here's the phrase to lock into memory. A real government agency will never, ever call or text to ask you for a payment. No money through cash apps, no cryptocurrency, no gift cards, no store credit, nothing. The same goes for the Social Security Administration, Medicare, and any legitimate federal office. If someone calls claiming to be from the government and demands payment over the phone, that one detail is your proof it's a scam. The scale of this is hard to overstate. According to the Federal Trade Commission, Americans reported losing $3.5 billion to imposter scams in 2025, from more than 1 million reports. A lot of those started with a single phone call. One common version goes like this. A caller pretends to be from your bank, warning you about suspicious activity. They transfer you to a fake government agent who tells you to move your money into a so-called government account for safekeeping. That is always a lie. No government body holds your personal money in a safekeeping account. If you get a call like that, hang up. Now, where does the FCC fit in? The Federal Communications Commission has started going after the phone carriers themselves. It's brought enforcement actions against providers that knowingly let scam calls, fake government, bank, and retailer calls move through their networks unchecked. In plain terms, that puts pressure on carriers to screen and block fraudulent calls before your phone ever rings, instead of leaving it entirely on you to catch a scammer who's already on the line. The FCC has also rolled out Know Your Customer rules, so companies have to verify who their clients are before letting them blast out mass calling campaigns. That's part of why you may have noticed fewer obvious spam calls lately. But scammers adapt, so knowing the never ever rule yourself is still your best defense, no matter what the carriers block. The second change is a federal law, not just a campaign, and it's about artificial intelligence. Back in 2024, the FCC ruled that AI-generated voices in robocalls count as artificial voices under the Telephone Consumer Protection Act. In plain English, it's now illegal for any company or scammer to use an AI-cloned voice to call you without your prior consent. That rule was a direct response to a frightening trend: scammers using AI to clone the voices of family members, especially grandchildren, to trick seniors into sending money to someone they think is in trouble. When the agency adopted the rule, its chair put it bluntly, that bad actors are using AI-generated voices to extort vulnerable families. Breaking the rule now carries serious financial penalties, and carriers themselves can be held liable, even blocked, if they knowingly allow these illegal AI calls on their networks. So, if you ever get a call where the voice sounds exactly like a loved one, but it's frantic, urgent, and there's a demand for money, hang up. Then call that person back on a number you already have saved. Never call back the number that just called you. The third change is genuinely reshaping how seniors stay connected, and this is one where you need to act, not just be aware. Across the country, the major phone companies are retiring their old copper wire landlines, the traditional service that has kept working through power outages for decades. It's being replaced with digital service, fiber optic lines, and voice over internet protocol, or VoIP. AT&T has already begun in several states, and the rest of the industry is moving the same direction, with AT&T aiming to retire most of its copper by 2029. The FCC has generally signed off on these transitions, as long as a reasonable replacement is available. Here's why this matters so much for seniors. A copper landline kept working in a blackout because the line carried its own low-voltage current straight from the phone company. Digital replacements like VoIP and fiber phone service almost always run on the electricity in your home. So if the power goes out and you don't have a backup battery for your phone equipment, your new, upgraded service might not work at all. That includes calling 911. That's a real danger for medical alert pendants, fall detection systems, and other home health devices a lot of seniors rely on, since many were built for the old copper network. So here's the action step, and it's simple. Call your phone provider and ask 2 questions. 1. Is my landline being switched off copper? And if so, when? 2. Will I need a backup battery to keep my phone working in a power outage, and can you provide one? And if you or a loved one uses a medical alert device, call that company too, and ask whether the device depends on a type of phone line that's being phased out in your area. It helps to understand why this is happening, because it shapes how you should handle it. Copper is expensive for the phone companies to keep up. Constant maintenance across millions of miles of aging line for fewer customers every year as people move to cell phones and internet calling. From the company side, fiber and VoIP are cheaper, clearer, and easier to run. The FCC's general position is that this is reasonable modernization, not unfair removal, as long as people in an area aren't left with no working option. And to be fair, groups like AARP aren't arguing the new technology is worse. In normal conditions, fiber and VoIP give you clearer calls and steadier connections. The worry is narrow and specific. What happens in an emergency when the power's out? Which is exactly when a working phone matters most. That's why those 2 questions are worth asking even if you're not otherwise concerned. The backup battery answer alone could be the difference between a working phone in a storm and being cut off. The last one is about your actual phone, not the wires running to your house. Over the past few years, carriers shut down their old 3G networks, and that's basically finished now. If you or a parent are still on an older phone that doesn't support a feature called VoLTE, short for Voice over LTE, that phone could eventually stop making calls, sending texts, or reaching 911, no matter which carrier you're on. And it's not only 3G phones. Some older 4G models are affected too. Same warning as the landlines. If you have a medical alert system, a smartwatch, or a home security system that connects over a cellular network, check directly with the maker to find out whether your device is affected. Let me put it all together. This June, federal agencies led by HHS launched the Never Ever campaign. Remember the phrase, no real government agency will ever demand payment over the phone. If one does, it's a scam. Hang up. Scams using AI-cloned voices are now illegal under federal law, but that won't stop criminals from trying. So, if a call demanding money sounds like a loved one, hang up and call them back on a trusted number. Traditional copper landlines are being replaced by digital service that usually needs electricity, so call your provider now about backup battery options, especially if you rely on a medical alert device. And older phones without VoLTE may lose service entirely, so check your phone or a parent's phone before it turns into an emergency. The point of all this isn't to scare you. It's to make sure you're never the one who finds out the hard way, whether that's a scam call that sounds frighteningly real or a phone that goes dead at the worst possible moment. This has been Hank with Hank USA. If it was useful, please give it a like, subscribe, and share it with anyone you know who has a smartphone or a landline. I'll see you in the next one.